Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a podcast and safe space for Black and marginalized creatives to empower, educate, and uplift you through the final product of self and creation. Bring a homie, share with a homie, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. It is officially, what season is this? Season 5? I don't know what number. I've had many a wine, a Chardonnay, a sparkling, and so we'll see what we get today. But welcome back to the new season of Creatively Exposed, and I'll be musing today, to be quite honest. I didn't know if I'd be able to get podcasts out because I'm on chill time right now, which is rare. And so y'all might hear all kinds of crazy sounds because of where I'm at. But the new season of life, right? Like this new chapter that is coming in. If you are new here, welcome to Creatively Exposed, a safe space for creatives where my aim is to literally rehumanize the creative. Many times our art is consumed, but a lot of times our humanity is forgotten. And so with that said, I definitely am going to disconnect fully this Labor Day week, which is also my birthday week. Today, if you're listening on Wednesday, is my birthday. So musing on the year, musing on what I'd like for the podcast to become updates on where I'm at. Let's see how long I can also record, since I'm recording on the go. But chapter 34, y'all, you get a little bit of woo, you get a little bit of the creative, you get a little bit of the astrology, and definitely not hiding the multi-passionate creative that I am, because I've tried doing one thing and it don't work for me. As much as I'd like to be like, oh, I'm just gonna focus on this one thing, I just can't. And so shout out to anybody whose capacity is for one thing and is able to focus on that one thing. And shout out to all of us who do more than one. So I am a writer, author, poet, teacher, doing some really cool things in the future, so I might discuss that life circle moment, which is really, really cool. I just want to get things together and finalize all of that. I'm also working during the day, right? And I also have a online crystal and spiritual wellness business where I'm planning on working with a local shop to possibly put some things together, have some of my things carried, so more information on that soon. And these last few months, I really thought I was gonna rest and do more stuff, but it has ended up being a series of pop-up shops, of submitting poems, and working, dead ass working. And so it's really cool right now to be in this revision of sorts and really looking at, am I really living the life that I want to live? And that changes, right? With time, with age, with experience, with just existing in the world. It changes. And so I think along you also get a little bit of therapy, right? So a lot of what I have been working through in therapy is that 33 was a year of doing the most, and not always in a way that is replenishing, but in a way that sometimes there's not enough me left. And so it's always being at the precipice of burnout. And so I haven't really, although I've written, I haven't really been like, I want to get these projects out. I want to work on this thing and that thing. I want to get this out into the world. There's some projects that I had ideas for, and I've hit like a wall. And so, what do we do with that, right? Like, I know I've discussed burnout more than once, but I don't think it's discussed, like, how do we get out of this? How do we cope with this? How do we get out of it in a way where it's sustainable to slowly backtrack out of burnout? And I don't have all the answers. I am figuring that out myself. And a lot of it is disconnecting. Like that D&D, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even if it's, if you can schedule time off, a week off, it is not enough, but it kind of helps with filling up some of the battery, right? Like you're on negative 30 and maybe you'll be on 0. And then, a long weekend comes, like, it's Labor Day weekend, and being able to have one day for rest, one day for errands, one day for just chilling the fuck out, bro. I haven't had a lot of those. And so, as I look back at 33, I've realized that I've been focused on the things that get me results versus emotional endeavors. And so, thinking of, is this replenishing my soul, my spirit? Is this giving back to me so I can keep going? Am I able to be here in the now versus wondering what's next? And so it's a no. Like, the answer is no. I'm realizing I've been drained, exhausted, frustrated, because I'm not passive. Y'all help me. But I'm not moving in my life in a way that I am here and I'm here today now. My therapist actually, because my biggest struggle is with being present, gave me like hella options. It's like an article that I'll put in the show notes of all of the options of being able to be present. Like little few things that you can do. Like one of them is like having a moment for like breathing exercises. Excuse me. And then from all of the ones that I saw, I took it as like, my body is here now. My mind can be anywhere in the world, right? It can be in 2030 if it wants to be, but my body can only go as far as right now. And so that is a mantra that I have been reminding myself of, telling myself, especially in days of overwhelm, in days of sometimes anxiety. I was just like, yo, work, creative pursuits, they can only go as far as you can go, right? And so, what is the point of beating myself up, of criticizing myself, or just feeling, I have this thing of feeling like I'm always running out of time. And I've probably discussed this in previous episodes, but that's definitely an ongoing theme. And so I'm gonna leave all that shit behind. Like, all that energy of like chasing the carrot or trying to catch up to whatever, right? Like, who am I catching up to? Am I really a writer or a creative because I haven't XYZ? And the thing is, like, who? Oh, hold on. Are those my homies? Hold on. Tell you. Anyway, I don't think it's them. I'm gonna tell you, I am very comfortable where I'm at right now. But we put these levels of like, oh, I'd like to be at this level, right? I'd like to be at this thing. I haven't done whatever. And who really makes those parameters, right? Like, who really is out here telling us this is what we should be doing? No one. And so why are we fighting to reach these levels that are beyond our capacity? The world is burning, y'all. And we're doing our best to thrive in it, to feel joy in it, to love. But I have forgot what living is like. And so in therapy, that's what year 34 is for me. And so in this next season of the podcast, as well as in life, I'd like to feel what it's like to sink into life. I literally called it the living and listening chapter. I want to sink into life. I want to savor it. I want to feel every moment of it and find the delectableness of life. You know, even in the things that could be better, I have to still acknowledge there are still some really amazing things, some beautiful alignments, some magic. And so I invite you to think about that. Like, if is you right now at this moment filling the well of your humanity, right? Of your existence. What book was it? I recently read a book, and I think it's by Tasha Suri, the Oleander Sword. And there's a part where one of the devas say, Deva, to live, you don't have to be worthy to live this life, or something to that extent. Life is not meant to be worthy of, it is meant to be lived. Life is not meant to be worthy of, it is meant to be lived. There's nothing you need to do to be worthy of something. And if you have to go outside of yourself in order to get this one thing, is it really worthy of you? about that, right? You know I'm gonna think about it, goddamn. Is it really worthy of you? If it is taking more out of you than it is giving you, is it worth it? Outside of like jobs and the basic things of living in a society where, cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Like, that is needed to survive, at least in the US. You know what I'm saying? And so I like to think about what else? What else? Like, may the tears that I shed be out of joy, out of euphoria, out of being so pleasantly surprised that I am grateful. And so this season, sometimes I'm like, oh, this season I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. We'll see what unfolds. I know what I'd like to do, and we'll see if it happens. I'd like to connect my collective, which is the Estuary Collective. We are a group of 4 femme-presenting Black women. And that's Black women with an X. But Black people. Just in case we have some they thems, right? I have a non-binary friend that works on making poetry equitable in the Black and brown community. Here in this podcast, I am focused. Everyone is welcome, but I will always be centering Black and brown folks, queer folks, marginalized communities, but specifically Black and brown folks. I want more conversations as poets. I think podcasting is also a place where art can be documented, and there's another word. I guess annexed, but there's another word. However, it can be a place where we can share thoughts about poetry. I don't feel like we have enough accessible places to just discuss, muse, crush on the art of craft and poetry. You're always gonna have a little magic hour. And so maybe some segments. I've been thinking a lot about segments and what those would be. And so there's definitely going to be the Astro Liz corner, which is where I'm like, okay, this month, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see if you like it. I'm always open to having a discussion. If you are feeling the podcast, definitely give a rating, preferably 4-star rating or however many stars, the top star rating. That's how people can find that I exist and that I'm not screaming into a void. And I also like to hear your thoughts on what would you like? What do you feel that could be provided in this space, in this platform? Definitely open to talking about your project and what you're interested in, and if it's in alignment, putting each other on to things. That's how I found Between Magic and Dreams. I was obsessed with the book, and then they were one of our sponsors, so I'm definitely always looking for sponsors. And if you're interested in crystals, spiritual work, tarot, astrology, I do all of that as well. And let's combine all this shit. Like, why make it something segmented when I'm all of these things? So there will be moments that I'm talking about Bad Bunny. There will be moments that I'm talking about compa and being Haitian. Like, I am Afro-Caribbean, Latinx, Latina, to include mi pana. And it's a melange, it's a mix, and I can't just be one thing, so I hope y'all kick it with me, rock with me, and check out the things that I'm doing. I have some teaching. I'm teaching on September 24th, the language of line breaks. I did it last year. I'm bringing it back, and I like to teach living poets. I'm focused on Black and Brown poets. And then in October, I have a bilingual, so in English and Español, genre blending class. So there's going to be a lot of work put into that, throwing that in the show notes as well. So if you want to check those out, I believe they are $75 for 3 hours. It's 10 to 1:30, 2:30, around there. 10 to 1:30, I believe it is. And we do the work. And it's a workshop. It's not me talking at you the whole time. It's putting our brains together to do the work of creating art. Especially, my focus is having an imagination around liberation and what that looks like and what that means to us individually. Here in this space, I believe art is intentional. It is a spell. It is liberation work. Even when we create for just art's sake, it is its own kind of celebration of joy. And so that is my little spiel. Not little, that is my thoughts and feelings. Let us not diminish where we're at. I think the next conversation, yes, I know what the next episode will be about, so check me out in the next episode. I will probably be doing these weekly. I felt like bi-weekly, there was just too much space, but we will see. And it will probably be, 1 or 2 episodes of myself, some special guests, some collective poetry craft stuff. That is my hope. I don't know what it will be. It might end up being something completely different. Be flexible with me, y'all. Offer me grace as I like for you to offer yourself grace. And so let's go into the Astro Liz corner. So, for those who have no idea what astrology is about, whatever, just see what it gives you. For the most part, it's like a energetic forecast. And so we got hella retrogrades right now. What do retrogrades mean? Retrogrades mean that planets look like they're going backwards, but they're not. They're just going hella slow. And so sometimes they move back into a previous sign. So there's like 7 planets that are gonna be retrograde once Mars goes retrograde later in the month. So boom, biggest things. I'm not gonna do all the transits. I'm just gonna do like the major shit that everybody can be like worried about. It's gonna be a little rocky this September. So Mercury is now retrograde, which that's the one that most people know about. What does that mean? It might mean, is it retrograde in Libra? I think it will be. I think it's still in Virgo. Don't quote me. But it's going to be in Libra soon. And so Mercury, what is Mercury about? Mercury is our form of understanding thoughts, like how we take in and kind of break down understanding. And Mercury is communication, it's text messages, it's technology, it's the tools that we use and the things that we use to convey messages. When it is retrograde, it means check that shit thrice. It means a lot of things that start now may not last past the 1-ish, almost 2 months of Mercury retrograde and its shadow. That doesn't mean that for everybody, right? It means being very intentional and taking an extra moment to realize, do you really mean what you think, say, express? You might have more typos. You might have that some shit that you were supposed to fix 3 months ago is like, well, bitch, I died. I was waiting for you to fix this. Now you gotta fix it right now because I ain't working anymore. So you might see some of that. Be very mindful of travel as well. Be very patient. Like, there will be delays for stuff. So give yourself extra time. So anything where you're not being fully present, be like, oh wait, there is a traffic jam, but I'm gonna just chill. Right? I ain't gonna rush. Don't rush through stuff. Especially if you ever look up like what sign it's in and your chart, then you can see what house that's gonna affect. When I mean house, it means like what's like the theme where it's gonna hit. So, and if you don't know any of that, but you would like to know that I do natal chart reading, so selfless plug. Selfless plug? Shameless plug. Next, Mars is going to be in Gemini for the next 7 months. It's giving passive-aggressive communication. It's giving unsavory jokes that don't come across well. It's giving wishy-washiness or indecisiveness might be malinterpreted, especially during this retrograde that's coming up. It's now in like the shadow, which don't sleep on the shadow. A shadow is like the week before it goes retrograde. Sometimes those whoop your ass a little bit harder. So use this time instead of being petty, because it might not curl over as it should. It might be more harm than good. Use Mars and Gemini to like boundaries, expressing things instead of bottling them up. Being very intentional on what you say, especially between Mars and Mercury. Say what you mean. Don't go around in circles. That going around in circles, Think about what you're gonna say, but also say what the fuck you mean. Cause don't leave things up for interpretation. Social might be real crazy for the next 7 months. We might find out a lot of stuff in the news, in just in personal life, all of that. You might hear from people you haven't heard from in a long time. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is currently retrograde. That is a communication-based sign. And so, be careful with gossip. Be careful with gossip. It might find the ears of whoever you're gossiping about. And so, if you're okay with saying, I said what I said, then you'll be fine. But when you feel overloaded or overstimulated, move it out of your body. Definitely move it out of your body. Instead of, silence is free. Instead of commentary, instead of always having something smart to say, move it out of your body. However that means to you, right? It might do you better, because sometimes, especially even if it's not affecting you, people might be trying to push your buttons for some bullshit. And just be mindful, because for the next 7 months, that means that shit is going to last a long time. It feels like instantaneous effects on whatever bullshit you want. So just check your shit twice. Take extra time before you're about to do that. Per my last motherfucking email, take a lunch break. Take a walk break. Take a breathe break. Take a being present in my body break. Watch out with burning yourself out. I'd also write down my ideas versus working on executing them all at once, so that way you don't get that creative burnout of trying to do the absolute most. And so that is my Astro Liz Corner. I will see you in the next week. Hear from you. Hit me up on Twitter, Creatively Exposed with the X, no E. Twitter, I already said Twitter. Instagram, the same, Creatively Exposed. Hit the emails. You can sign up for the newsletter. Jesus. See? And stay tuned. I hope to have some yummy stuff. I always like to do a little therapy corner as well. And so what do you want the rest of life to look like? A lot of these transits are going to come back around. So be very mindful of, or pay attention to what happens around this time. Because they might be themes for later on. And so what does living and listening look like to you? That's what I'm working on. I want life to be more celebratory. I want to have a project, make it pop, make it happen. Be like, yo, I did that shit in my year of 34. 34 also turned into 7 years. So let's see what aligns, And it's a toast to life. So welcome back to Creatively Exposed, the new season. Child, I don't know what number season this is, but thank you to the ones who just got here, to the ones kicking it with me that don't make me feel like I'm doing this thing by myself. Hit me up on the socials and share with a friend, tell a homie, bring a homie, share with the homie, and see you next week. Do not forget that you are magic. Pas oublier où c'est magique. No te olvides que eres magia. Thank you as always. Hey y'all, if you have not realized, I am using Anchor. I've been rocking with it for a while. It is now made by Spotify, and it's super cool because you can do it from your phone, from your computer, on their app or their website, and you can create ads to make money, subscriptions, etc., and it's free. And so if you've been waiting on getting your podcast on, Anchor might be the thing for you. You could get started today. I also want to say thank you for over 16,600 listens, for the follows on social media, for sharing with a friend, for rating. And if you haven't done so, definitely rate the show. Let me know your thoughts, but that 16,000, that's not every place that the podcast is at. It definitely makes me feel like I am of use somehow. I'm providing some kind of affirmation, some kind of useful information, some kind of just being able to relate. And so it's been 3 years kicking it, and nothing but gratitude. So definitely hit me on socials, and see how I can be of service to you all, because that's what I'm here for. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the show. Check out our Patreon, the website in the show notes. Rate, review, and subscribe or share with the homie. And don't forget that you are magic. No te olvides que eres magia. Pa oublier, c'est magique. Take care and see you next week.